bitch is shaking the table.
I feel like this year is way more powerful because I'm doing it in New York. Like, ground.
Yeah, you gotta be grounded.
I'm in my bag right now. Y'all, what is good? I have not done an episode since like the end of August, okay, y'all? Because I have literally been in my Ziploc, compressed sealed Ziploc right now. So, first of all, a lot of stuff has been going on. Like, I didn't even tell y'all all of my tea because, like, people be nosy, you know what I'm saying? But I moved to New York. Like, I left everything behind in the DMV. And for the past 2 months, I've just been figuring out my life. Like, in September, I was trying to figure out, okay, did I get the job? Like, are they going to give me the coin that I need to sprinkle? Because you know your girl's by her pentacles. And then I was like, all right, how am I going to pay to live in New York? Because I could barely I was in Bethesda. I couldn't even do that. So how am I going to live in New York? But we figured it out. God is good. Amen. So as I was going to transition into like this new life, I was like, oh yeah, I got to make a podcast about like being in New York and like how it is, like trying to move, like being a creative and like doing my own thing and like pursuing my dreams. And then boom, like a month in, the shit just slapped me and I was done, y'all. And let me tell you why, because Mercury was in Gatorade. Mercury grabbed me by my Meek Mill braids underneath this wig and she held on tight and she had the grip and she said, sis, sit down. Sit your goofy ass down. And so I wanted to, speaking of Mercury being in microbraids, I wanted to sit down with one of my soul sisters, one of my mentors, my friend Janay. Hi, Nay. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
So this week, we wanted to talk to y'all about what retrogrades are, like how they've been affecting us, and like just a way for us to kind of explain, because we had a really rough 3 weeks. And I feel like a lot of times people have challenges and they're just like, oh, that's just how it is. Or like, oh, I'm just having a bad week. But like, nah, you have to sit down and dissect, like, why am I feeling this way? What is this period of time teaching me? And usually I ain't got time for that because I don't like to be in my feelings. But this retrograde, the final one in Scorpio season, girl, a drag. She dragged me. She picked me up and she slammed me into the ground. But it's cool. So Janay, kind of refresh their minds for like people who are new listeners or people who may have forgotten a little bit about you. Tell us what you do, what type of stuff you into, all of that.
Hey guys, thank you again for inviting me back. My name is Janay. You can call me Nay, or if you're feeling nasty, you can call me Melanie. And I'm a jack of all trades. I am a yoga teacher / instructor / business owner. I'm a content creator. I'm just out here just living life, just trying to fulfill my purpose by liberating others and liberating myself. So yeah, I'm out here in my bag too, just out here just trying to live life while I have it.
Period, Puda. So Nay and I are always talking about the sun, the moon, and the stars. Even though we are all of those things, we're always trying to like come up with like messages. We're just looking at the messages being like, yo, why am I feeling this way today? Like, what does my horoscope say? What card of the day that I pulled that is spelling tea? And I wanted to sit down with someone who also cares about this kind of stuff, because I know like the planets in the universe, a lot of people like they don't really know about it. But I feel like within the next 3 years, people are going to be so like astrology, so pro tarot, so pro all these things, because they're going to be looking for like the universe to give them answers. Yeah. And they're going to be looking for like, I don't know, it's just like such a
messages,
a process.
Stuff. And so all of this, thankfully, is written in the stars and the moon and the cosmos, which is I think astrology is very, very beautiful to look at. It's very dense, it's very complex, but I'm definitely happy to have you on my astrology nerd team, because child, it's stuff that you don't know, that you know that I don't know, and I'll be like, child, I ain't get to that chapter in my studies yet, but you just be spilling and vice versa. So it's real good stuff.
And so I feel like this period of like Mercury being in microbraids, everybody makes a joke about it, but this one, y'all, really came through like Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball. And I just feel like we got to break this whole thing down, because it started on Halloween, right? Like, was it Halloween night? Like, what time? I don't even remember.
But the shadows started even 2 weeks. The pre-shadows started 2 weeks before Halloween, but it definitely started on Halloween, which in itself, Halloween is a very like super dark. The veil is thin, so you know you want to be intentional about which way you trying to go in your life. You know, you want to go into light, you want to stay in darkness, which way you trying to go. So that was very, very interesting to like really kick, well, for Mercury to decide to kick itself off into retrograde on Halloween in
That was
Scorpio.
so weird because
Yeah.
it's like every year, like I really do feel like, because I'm so like into this whole astrology thing, before this I just felt so lost and so confused about like why during certain times of the year, like I was happy, I was positive, and then sometimes of the year I was like really focused on my career, and then sometimes I was really focused on my friendship. Like it's so weird because when we were in Libra season, I was so focused on like my friendships, my relationships, like, you know, like I was like, oh, I want a man, blah, blah. Scorpio season came in and I was emotional as hell.
Yes.
And then Halloween came and the retrograde came. Because I didn't really, in the beginning, so the shadow period is like the first, like, it's like 10 to 20 days before and after, like, the quote unquote retrograde, which we'll get into that. But, like, I didn't feel it those first, like, couple of days. But Halloween, first of all, I got caught in the rain. All of my belongings are soaked. So I had to sit in front of a fan and dry myself off for an hour and a half. Yeah, so that's how we came in. And then it was just like so many other extra things that just went wrong. And this is for like every time retrograde comes around, something happens to me in the physical, which is so weird because it's always a wake up call. Like last retrograde, I got into a car accident and like, and my car was totaled. I was like I fucked up my shoulder, my arm, my right arm. Like even still now, I don't like have full range of motion, which is so weird. But like, yeah, whatever. So it's just like it's always something physical for me with these retrogrades. So every time when they come around, I'm like, ugh, like, am I gonna break my ankle? Am I gonna like what's tea?
And I honestly, I was ignorant to the fact, like I was asleep on the fact that retrograde was coming. Like I remember, you know, getting the news about it prior to Halloween. So it was that October, September. It's like, oh yeah, retrograde. And then when it finally came, I was like, oh, okay. But the crazy thing is I was already in my retrograde in the shadow period. I went through like some emotional stuff and within my home sector. And that's when a whole lot of emotional stuff started happening for me. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm freaking, like I'm going crazy right now. Like I'm about to I'm not in therapy anymore. I was in therapy for about a year and a half. And I'm like, oh, I'm about to go to therapy. I can't right now. Like this is just too much. And then when it finally came, it's almost like when you PMS and you're like, and then the first drop comes, you're like, oh.
That's the perfect way to explain like retrograde season, because it's one of those, it's literally like a period. Like you're dreading it, you know it's coming emotionally, you know, like I can't handle it. And then the first day comes and just beats your ass. Retrograde is the first day of your period every day for 3 weeks.
Yo.
And for men, it's like, I don't even know what the male equivalent to that is. I'm sorry to
they
this
have
man.
They have theirs too. I don't care
what do men have that sucks for them? I would like to hear it. Receipts, please. Call up CVS and get the receipts, because I want to know, what do men go through? They have to go through retrograde too, but like it's just crazy. So let's get into like the science-y. And you have to say this because you sound smarter than me when you talk. Go ahead.
Girl, the planets, any planet can go into retrograde. I feel like the only planet that doesn't go in retrograde is Earth. But what that means is retrograde is when the planet, it turns on its axis and it begins to turn backwards, and it goes into a slower inward motion. And I just want to make note that whatever goes on in the universe and the cosmos, up in the universe and the cosmos, it plays down here on Earth. So that's where the influence is. So specifically, Mercury is the planet that represents the mind, the intellect, how we think, how we speak, how we write, how we communicate. And so when it is in retrograde, turning inwardly or backwards in a slower motion, then that means that those qualities, communication, intellect, coordination, those things are disrupted. And so there could be some misunderstandings, some miscommunications, some delays, some setbacks. And so I think pop culture, where we are now in 2019, spiritual Twitter and just like fatty spirituality and astrology has kind of grasped that Mercury retrograde is the end of the world, and it is not. It is just how people communicate. Even technology slows down. Worldly events may happen. Past experiences may come up. So the case of the exes might come up. Maybe a bill that you didn't pay 2 months ago may come back to you. An old conversation might come up. So things are just kind of either resurfacing, or they're pulling you yourself to go inwardly. So to reflect more on yourself as well.
That was excellent. No, that was excellent. Yeah. I think that, like, before I started talking to you, I think every retrograde I was like freaking out, because there were already 3 this year. So there was one like March 5th through 28th, which was like around Easter time. I remember around Easter I was like so out of it and just like all over the place. And then there was one in the summer, which is during the car accident. It was from the 7th to the 31st. That was crazy. But I think at the beginning of this year, I was like, all right, so let me look up when the retrogrades is, and I'm gonna just take notes. And then I knew I had the podcast coming, so I was like, oh great, like I could just pay attention to it. So I knew that it was the one in March. I knew it was like right after my birthday. I was like, okay, cool. And I noticed around my birthday, which was like in the shadow period, a lot of stuff was going wrong. Like I was late to my birthday shenanigans. Like I was like 2 hours late actually. And girl, like everything was going wrong. Like the Uber was late. The makeup was late. My dress wasn't fitting. My dress broke. My shoes broke. We couldn't it was just, we couldn't find somebody. People couldn't find, like, it was just so much stuff going wrong. And then like within that period too, like it was just a lot of like me forcing communication and just shit just going wrong. And I was just like, it's because I need to sit down. It's because I need to sit down. And then I was like, all right, well, it wasn't that bad. It was like a little rough time. Like I had a lot of setbacks and a lot of like miscommunications, but I left it at that. And I was like, let's see the next one. So we get to July. Child, July was the one that got me, because when I got into that accident, I was like, oh, see, that's it. Like that really screwed me up. Like I was screwed up financially, mentally, emotionally. I was having breakdowns because like I couldn't even make myself something to eat because my body, like it was just ghetto. Girl, I was over it. And I was like, this is
That was a real nice, kind introduction to it.
Y'all are welcome.
And you said, you feel like you experienced it more in the physical. I think for me, I've experienced it more probably inwardly. It seems like all of my life sparks kind of happen inwardly at first. I guess maybe because I'm an Aquarius, and so everything is kind of inside, and then I have to be mindful of how they play outwardly. So my first time really like catching on to it was one of my friends. She was the one like, yeah, retrograde. This was it last year? No, it was like two years ago. She's like, yeah, retrograde is retrograde season. And I knew it was the summertime. It might have been like late spring, early summer. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I really was not paying her no kind of mind. And then once I began to experience it for myself, I was like, okay, so I knew I was like, and during that time I was in the beginning stages of my business. So like trying to force things to happen and like, oh, like I want this to be here. And the grander picture of my brand and my business needs to be this. And it's like, no, like take a step back. All of that's not going to happen at once. So I had to really learn how to slow down and scale things down and take my time. Doing that planning and things like that.
It's so funny how now I know when the dates are, and I don't want to say I put my life on hold, but I really do like plan my life out well. So I'm like not trying to take any important trips, do anything important. Like if you notice, if you look back through my catalog of episodes, I love that I have a catalog of episodes. Wow. Yay. Go me. But like, if you look back at my episodes during these periods of like retrograde, or like if anything crazy is happening in my life, I don't record because I've noticed that sometimes when I want to, like I've had episodes that I've had to take out of the rotation. I haven't done anything that's been published and taken out of rotation, I would say, but like things that I have recorded, I'm like, I'm going to upload. I've had to delete them because I listen back to it. And I don't want to say I'm altering myself so that I sound a certain way, but it's just like I found myself being overly negative, or like you can hear it in my thoughts that I'm like altering my communication style to be a certain way, and it's just like, girl, no.
Yeah.
Right. Or it takes too long for me to say something, and I'm like, okay, we can't do this.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that. I felt myself in that creative space this time around, where I'm like, oh, like I have all of this stuff, this content planned as far as like speaking about wellness and anxiety and just my personal journey through mental health and things like that. And I'm just like, it's just not going to happen. And that was like one of the biggest things for me, was being okay with that and not feeling like I had to do it, and understand that, okay, this is a period of time of growth and transformation for these X amount of days, and maybe it might be worth it to just ride it out and just see what is happening. The best thing I can do for myself is just take a personal record, like, you know, what you said, of what's happening within my life, whether that be through journaling or recording things for my personal records. I do my own like vlog videos that are just never uploaded, or audio records that I do. So yeah, like that, just it's crazy, because like you're really kind of you're like shut in to go inward, not necessarily like imprisoned, but things are just really directed inwardly, and it sparked you to ask a lot of questions with what's going on in your outward world and in your inner world.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because my next point was like, for me during these like I learned like it is a time for introspection and to go inward, like you said, because I didn't realize, and I just realized that this year, I'm an outward person. Like inwardly, whatever I feel inwardly, I project it out. Good, bad, happy, sad, whatever. So like I literally wear my emotions like on my body, which is so I try not to be like that, but I just have to accept it and just realize that that's me, you know? And so like when I'm really happy, everybody in the room is happy. You know, I want everybody to have a good time. I want everybody to like, you know, just remember who you with, and like you with the girl. But when I'm sad, I try not to talk to my friends, because I realize that it kind of makes them sad. Like I'll have bad days and I'll call my friends and I'll be like, y'all, I'm sad because XYZ. Or like I'll have bad days and I'll text you about it and be like, yo, this is crazy that this is happening, whatever. And I could feel that everyone else's energy is shifting with mine, and I don't like having that power. So that's why I'm saying, like, during these periods, I try to stay to myself and kind of stay in a bubble, because I don't like feeling like my words or like the weight of my emotions is going to be that dark cloud. Because, you know, everybody got that one friend that pull up and everybody be like, all right, I'm gonna head out. And I don't, I don't want to be that person. But these periods, like, really affect me. And I don't know. I think it's because I'm always like, stuff happen, I'd be like, bet, like, I've become such a all right bet person, because I told you I'm living life on survival, and I need to do better with that. But that's a whole different episode.
Right.
But when stuff happens to me, I've just developed this all right bet response, and I'm just on to the next thing, that I never sit and unpack it anymore. I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. We don't have time for this.
Yeah. I totally,
And retrograde don't let you do that. Retrograde be like, it is the time. Sit your ass down. Let's
discuss.
I
was about to say. I was about to say, it's crazy because, for like you were saying, for you it's more, it happens inward, but then you project outwardly. And again, just the Aquarian thing, and even like my Virgo moon, then I start analyzing that stuff inwardly, and so it's all inward. And I'm like, yo, who can I talk to at this point? I don't know if I can talk to anybody, because I'm like you said, I'm not trying to be that great cloud to come over anybody's day, so I'm just keep it to myself. And if I do try to talk to somebody, I'm going to probably sugarcoat it to just not make it seem like it's as bad as what I need it to be, or what I'm experiencing, or just like, am I even going crazy right now, because like this just doesn't make sense. But I think for me, just where I am personally in my growth is just welcoming feelings because and emotions, because I feel like I've been detached for so long, and it's like, child, you're not made, you thought you were, but you're not created to be as detached as you were. And actually my pattern told me this the other day. It was like, your feelings are the things that actually drive you, and you have to be in touch with your feelings, your emotions more, instead of shutting them out, because that's what's going to create the fear and the anxiety. And I was like, well, that explains my whole retrograde experience right there, because I wasn't there was resistance, and then there was times where I did surrender to it. But ultimately, like, I get the objective of, you know, the emotional piece, which is all inward. It's that shadow.
Girl, this is getting ghetto. Like, so specifically, like, the characteristics, because we like made a list of all the characteristics for y'all, just so y'all know. Bottom line is, though, before I go with this list, is that stuff won't go as planned, but that's okay. Like, just know that, like, if you try to plan out I have friends, and I won't name them because I don't want to shade them, but I'm shading them by even bringing it up. They try to plan everything down to the minute, down to the detail in their lives, and it's like, I want them to realize, girl, I pray for them every retrograde, because I want them to know that you can't plan your life.
Yeah.
You know, what's that saying? Tell God your plans, he gonna laugh. Whatever it is.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Girl, hello. So I hope they listening right now. Blue
and
bitch, talk about you.
Even out of retrograde season, child, good luck.
Good luck, period.
Itinerary.
Girl, ghetto. So yeah, so like with this, like I've experienced stuff about like emails being sent the wrong way, like you like see attached and nothing attached, or like travel delays, like you've gone on trips and your flight got delayed because of weather, or like you never booked the reservation the way you're supposed to, or you end up having to pay for a bag when you wasn't supposed to. Like for like scheduling error. Oh, scheduling errors is something that really gets me. Being like, oh, we set the date for Monday, but it's next Monday, not this Monday, and I show up this Monday. Stuff like that. Or like technology glitches. Oh my God. We were just talking about this too, because Disney Plus, first of all, Disney, all this daggone money. And I can't say too much. And if you know, you know. Disney got all this money, and they should have consulted somebody, me, and told them never drop something during retrograde, because apparently they got all of our passwords. But that's fine, because I don't have no money right now anyway. So good luck getting into the account, sweetie. Yes, Disney Plus allegedly hacked, sources are saying. But anyway, old friends and lovers coming back into your life, like that is so interesting, because I love when old friends reconnect with me. If we're on good terms and you hit me up, like I had a lot of, especially when I moved to New York, like I had a lot of people being like, hey girl, like, and I love that, because it brings me like a feeling of nostalgia. Like, yo, we used to hang out and make up dances on the porch, or like, you know, we used to go to Owens Mills movie theaters like every Friday. Like I love thinking about stuff like that. But when it comes to old lovers, I'm sorry to these men. I'm sorry to y'all. Yeah. Please.
Stay where you at. Yeah, I've experienced the shadow period where we are now has brought in some
girl, and I just be like, what is your object? And it don't, and sometimes it don't even be them. It be like their friends that'll say something, and you're just like, wow, so you're still on that. Okay, nice to see you too, honey. Like
no response.
You can, because it's like, I think sometimes. And this is crazy how like we live our lives in our head a lot of the times. That's why I try to write and I try to like speed things out, like if I have it in my mind. But I think a lot of people are still living certain fantasies in their life, and it's like they think, like I have guy friends who think that they're gonna get back with this girl, and it's like, sorry to you, babe. I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous, but that's not gonna happen for you. And it's like, a lot of people are living these fantasies of things that are going to happen, not just relationships too, just in general, like things that are going to happen to them. And it's like, I need y'all to wake up. And I hope that Mercury grabbed you by the micro braids and says, sis, sir, have a seat.
Yeah. And that's sometimes like a super hard pill to swallow. I mean, I guess that's probably a whole nother topic. But
I do the same thing though. Like I'll be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, just fantasizing. Or just like, I think it kind of goes on expectations, which was one of the episodes that we recorded earlier this year. It's just expectations and that play on that. But sometimes I guess you get stuck in the replay of how things used to be, and maybe even that person's former character, and so you're bringing that forward, but ultimately you're just going to disappoint yourself in the end, because they're not on the same page. They're not even on the same script, because they in the now, and you got to catch up too and be in the now. And that's what retrograde helps you face, is like, oh, okay, I'm actually living in the
literally past. Retrograde is like the boss at the end of the video game, where you have to like face that, and then you realize like, oh shit, it's like the movie Us, yo. It's like you realize that you, like, your enemy is you, fam. Like, shit. Yeah. Woo! I just came up with something.
That's the perfect way of explaining. Oh my God, that is probably. Yeah. I haven't seen Us, but that's the perfect.
Like, you look in the mirror and realize that, like, the person that's about to whoop your ass is yourself.
It's you. It's you. That is it. That is it
Yo.
right there.
And so, like, with that, I feel like a lot of people ask, like, can I prepare for retrograde? I remember I think I asked you this, and I feel like the look on your face, like, geeked me. Because you can't. You can't.
Just gotta go through it. Everybody, we're all here on this earth together, but everyone is going through, just like the universe and your birth chart. Like, everyone has their own transits that they're going through. So we may coexist at one point, or we may pass each other at one point. We may not even like be in the same sector at whatever time in life, or you might come back. And I think for the exes or past things coming back, that's just the orbit, the transits of how things pass. But you can't really prepare, just like how you can't really prepare for life.
Yeah, you can't. It's funny because it's like somebody used the example on astrology, like the astrology section of Twitter. They were talking about it, and they were like, people asking me, how do I prepare for retrograde? Like, can you prepare for a marriage? Can you prepare to give birth to a child? Can you prepare? Like, you can't ever fully prepare for anything in life. You just have to deal with it.
Be prepared.
You can't.
Yeah.
And my only advice is just like relax your expectations. Like, take your time. Take your time, fool, because that is the one thing. I struggle with that too. I'm always on the go. I remember before I moved to New York, I was working 6 days a week. And the only day, because I used to have off Thursdays and Fridays, and the only day I would really have to myself was Friday. And even on Fridays, I'm like, so where we at today? Where we going about? Like, I never gave myself a chance to rest. And then after that accident happened, I was like, yo.
Gotta have a seat. I've been telling you that, girl.
Okay, you're loud. I don't like it here.
I
hate it
here. Sorry. I'm just saying.
And now that I'm in.
So if y'all see Lauren having a seat, it's because I told her to.
Shut up!
And it was needed.
I had to.
She'll catch you later.
Damn near through the wire, Kanye West, for me to sit down. And that's sad. But like, now that I'm in New York, everybody expects me to be doing all this popping stuff. And I want to let y'all know I'm asleep. People that want to come visit me, I love y'all. Sorry to this man. Y'all can't come visit because I need a chance to be with myself. This
gotta respect
this floor to ceiling window. I got blinds now. I open my blinds up, my curtains up, and I'm like, I just sit and I just look outside, or I physically on the balcony and I stand outside and I just relax. Like, rest, because I wasn't realizing how much I was carrying with me. It's like when you got grocery bags and you be piling them on to see how many bags you could carry upstairs before you bust your ass. That's me in life. And these
while trucking through New York City, because that's the only because you can't put them down.
while I'm on the train, trekking. Okay, so.
A pack train.
It's just like ridiculous that I was even doing it. So during these periods, like, I've learned to just just relax, and then also not to force anything. Like, your feelings may get hurt during retrograde. So many times I've gotten my feelings hurt during a retrograde season. I didn't even I look at the retrogrades from last year and the year prior, when like I was at a different place in my life. Let's just put it like that. I was going through it. I was having some serious, like, emotional upheavals, y'all. And it was just like crazy. And I didn't understand it. But now I get it. So just like, I'm learning patience this year. That's the word of the year, patience, because I'm not patient with a damn thing. If you know me, you know I got to get what I want right now. And if you can't give it to me, I'm gonna go find something.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't realize, the awakened and those who are still in their slumber, that between last year and this year, we are truly like energetically transforming, and it's not just a physical thing. Like, this stuff is energetically, like, I know we're going to talk about our chakras later on down the road, but that stuff happens within your energetic body, your cosmic body. So when things play in a physical realm, or even emotionally, like that's mentally also, that takes a toll on you. Like, you don't have to go to the gym to lift weights and run track to be out of breath. Like, you can sit right there and your body
just be tired,
just goes into flight and fight mode, because you're tired, you're exhausted, you might have triggered yourself. And so You have to rest. Like, our bodies really have to recalibrate to what is going on. Again, what is going on up in the universe, and then what is going on down here, so that we can be in that full alignment to then move forward once retrograde comes back direct, to move forward into our new embodiment, is what I'll say. A full transformation.
Girl, I'm waiting. December 7th can't come here soon. That's when the shadow is over and we are home free from this period, because I'm sick of it. Oh, back to, because I'm messing up. So another thing too, like, don't sign off for anything important. I remember you and I were having this conversation where right after the car accident, I needed a car.
Yes.
And what did I do, Nay? I went out and got a car. And now I'm in New York. I'm in New York and I can't even use the car. So now I'm in a contract like where I basically, this is mine and I can't even enjoy it. And if I would have just waited and just took my time and actually sat and thought about it, or like gave.
But she didn't know that New York was going to happen, although we did talk about it, which was crazy. I felt it in my spirit that I was going to get it, because I know that the things that I deserve to get, I'm going to get. So let me say that. And then, yes, ma'am.
What's crazy? Yes, ma'am. I got the car on the 31st, right? The day that retrograde was quote unquote over. We were going to be home free, like I think on the 6th or 7th, one of those days, a couple of days after, we were going to be home free, right? I found out about the job 6 days after I got the car. If I would have
went back. Don't they got a 14-day return period?
It is a 4-day return period.
Oh!
4 days, Nay. On the 6th, I feel like literally the Bible, on the 7th day, if I would have, and that's just a lesson, like, you got to slow down, period. But during these time periods, you really have to make smart decisions, because my goofy ass, because they say anything that happens during retrograde doesn't last. At first I was like, oh no, that's not true. Girl, so many people that I got into relationships, got into jobs. So I know so many people who like lost the person that was supposed to be like everything to them around this period. A lot of people breaking up recently. A lot of people, their crushes is crushing them. A lot of people, may have made mistakes at the job and got in trouble with their bosses. Like, so many things have been happening just so people can slow down and kind of realize that, like, you got to relax, bro. You got to relax. Don't force nothing. Don't sign off nothing. Double check your work. Sometimes I'll be sending texts to people and I don't realize that, like, it's a communication barrier and like things are getting misread. Like, I got in arguments with my parents because they read something as if it was an exclamation point, but really it was just a period. Like, it just during this time.
My mom had this super weird like experience where she was like, it was like right before the actual before the post shadow of retrograde, and she was like, the weirdest thing happened to me. My brother texted me talking, like saying like call mom or something, and so she was like, oh yeah, she has a doctor's appointment today, so let me call her. And then she said I went back to his text thread and the text wasn't there, and I was like, right. I was like, she was like, I don't know. So then she said she called and was like, did you text me? Because Apple do be doing it sometimes. Like, you'll see something and then it disappears. And so she was like, did you text me? And he was like, no. And she was like, are you sure? She was like, the weirdest thing happened. Like, I swear I woke up this morning and I saw a text from you on my phone that said, don't forget, mom has a doctor's appointment. And then it went away and I couldn't find it again. And he was like, no, I didn't text you.
What? Like, yo, it's been really, really weird. I've been having very weird dreams too, and I've been trying to write down my dreams because I feel like around this time, like, your dreams, write anything down that's happening. And a lot of my dreams, I have been in like physical struggles with people. Like one of my dreams, like, I was trying to get somewhere. I don't know where I was trying to go. Never mind. I know where I was trying to go, but anyway, I know I was trying to get somewhere, and I called one of my friends to pick me up because I was like, the train's not running. I need you to pick me up. Hurry up and get there. And then they were taking too long. And then I called another one of my friends and was like, hey, so-and-so's supposed to pick me up, but they like, it's taking them an hour. Can you hurry up because you're closer? And so that friend actually came to pick me up. And then somehow, I don't know, somehow I was in an Uber, and then the Uber like let me out. I don't know. But basically it took me like this is a long dream. And I was looking at the clock and it went from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And I was like, what? And I was like, so it's been 3 hours of me trying to find these people. And then finally my Uber drops me off and both of them are there waiting for me. And I was like, what?
Whoa.
Like, it was just a weird, like, how did I call each of them for them to pick me up? And they had the same, and they had the same name. So that was creepy in itself. Both of y'all are there to pick me up, but I'm not there. I'm in an Uber to y'all. But I was like, what, yo, like, I just be having a weird dream. And then another dream, I had a dream somebody was like running after me, like chasing me, one of my friends. And like, I kept hiding from her. And I didn't understand why I was hiding from her. And then finally somebody at the end of the dream was like, it's because she's trying to kill you. And I was like, what?
Hey, you gotta watch your back out here.
Girl, I woke up like, huh? Excuse me?
No.
Yo, like, it's been really. And then I had a dream like around March that one of my friends was pregnant. And I was like, yo, I'm kind of scared to text her because like nowadays with women, like you can't just be like, when are you having kids? Or like, you can't, like, we're getting at that age where it's like not appropriate, you know?
It's too sensitive, yeah.
But I was like, yo, I just have a feeling. So I texted her, I'm like, yo, what I just had a dream about. I had a dream I was at your baby shower. It was like pink balloons everywhere. Like, I didn't know how to ask her, so I just flat out was like, are you pregnant? And then she texted me back, like, how the fuck did you know? And I was like, honestly, no, like, swear to God, no one told me anything. I hadn't even talked to her. I just really missed her. You know how when you're thinking about somebody in the back of your mind, and you're like, yo, I wonder how she's doing. Like, I hope she's doing well. Like, pop up. Like, I just was really thinking about her. I was like, man, I miss my friend. And so I was going to text her anyway the next day, but I was like, no, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm tired. I'm like, I was exhausted that day. And I remember getting like 3 hours of sleep. And then I woke up the next morning like, girl, you won't believe what happened. And I'm laughing. And she's like, she sends me a picture of her stomach. And I was like, oh.
Wow.
And I was like so happy, number one, but I was so creeped out because I was like, how in the fuck? Like, it was so
geeked.
So basically my friends have a rule that if I see them in the dream, not to say nothing, and that's fine. This period, even though stuff doesn't go as planned, like, it doesn't mean it's all negative because like these last 3 weeks, even though they have been an absolute struggle and I've cried, at least I never cry about stuff unless I'm really mad. I have been angry crying, like, I swear 2 or 3 times a week. Because there's so many.
You were crying.
Shut up. There's so many things that had come up. Like, my inner child has been screaming at me for like a good 5 weeks. Like, she's just like, let me the fuck out. Let me tear some shit up. And I'm like, girl, sit down. So aside from physical barriers and like mental setbacks and me being like, oh, I have imposter syndrome here in New York. Everybody's great. I'm stressed. I'm not good enough, whatever. I'm having a lot of like emotional things. Like, I'm like, with family, I'm like having issues with them. And then like friends, I'm like purging. Literally at the end of every year, I be jokingly like, yo, your ass will get left in this in 2019, 2018, 2017. But I'm leaving people in this decade because there are some people that got to get purged out. So thank you, Retrograde, because
I think this Retrograde
kicking niggas out the condo needed. Like him, okay?
Yeah, right. Slams the door in the face.
Literally, it's so easy now because I'm 3 states away. I could just be like, already did. I can't wait to not respond to folks. Like, and at this point in my life, I don't even, like, if you would like me to explain to you why I don't want to be your friend, we can gladly do that because I have receipt. I told y'all I got receipt. But child, all these people out here that's opportunistic, that's just like trying to be my friend because of how it can benefit them. Like, there are not people who sit and want to be my friends. And if you do, I'm sorry to y'all because I am trash. Okay.
Right. Sorry. I mean, not that you trash, but like, damn.
Y'all don't want to be my friend. Y'all don't want to be my friend. I'm just going to tell y'all right now. It's no clout you can get from me. I can't give you passes to Disney World. I have no pull. Like, leave me alone, please. I can't do anything for you.
Because she's lovely. That's all.
Period. So we just gonna go ahead and leave folks there. So those are some of the challenges I've been facing. What's been going on over there?
Okay, some challenges I faced was, like I said, some emotional stuff. Like, I definitely, some emotions, some hidden shadowy emotions arose or rise or risen like Jesus. For me, at the pre-shadow of the game, I was just like, wow, okay, so I really have to choose what I'm going to do with this stuff so I can give myself space to feel this. Like, even Lo knows, like, it was like a week that I went MIA because I just was in the abyss, in the black, just like, what is this? I had to, like, take days at a time to journal and process and ask myself questions and just, okay. And then once I got to a breakthrough, I was able to then ask myself, well, how do I want to move forward? So that in itself was definitely a process because I had to, like we said, patience is definitely the big name of 2019. To be patient with myself and to not feel like I was strangling myself or even continue to allow myself to strangle myself in an unhealthy way, and choose and adopt healthy ways to move forward in my life. Within family and friends and relationships and things like that. Some other challenges were like mental replays, so old stories coming up, and we were kind of talking about that also. It's just like kind of living in the past and like bringing forth some previous expectations that are outdated, and knowing like this doesn't apply here and now. So you're going to make yourself sick, which we don't want to do that, or you might hurt somebody because that's not no. So stop. The best thing that we can do is to reframe our thinking and figure out ways to move forward. Also, seek the truth in situations, even though they may not, it might not be like 100% the truth, but just be more objective in things. And there are many, many sides to an experience, to a situation. But there is one truth. Sometimes you see it and then sometimes you don't, but just understanding that maybe it's not meant for me to see the truth. And so am I going to be okay with that? I have to say yes and choose to move forward for the sake of me and just continue to stick to my truth. And then also speaking up more was a challenge because I know my inner child has always been, I've been vocal growing up, but not as vocal as a lot of my peers have, or even like my siblings. I don't know why that is. I just kind of have always been the child that just kind of, I wasn't like the super quiet one, but I just didn't really say too much when it came to like standing up for myself or just speaking my emotions or exercising my freedom of expression. And so I realized that came up for me and how that was playing on my entrepreneurial esque and qualities and my creative side and where I am now in my not necessarily my business, but just my artistry and my purpose, which is literally to speak my truth. And so if I do not speak my truth or to live in my truth, then that I am imprisoning myself. And so, Janay, do you want to be imprisoned? No. So what you gonna do? Okay, you're gonna speak up. So what are some ways in which we can learn how to speak lovingly and compassionately and also truthfully, and also have those difficult conversations that may need to be had with yourself or others, so that again you can liberate yourself, but also know that as I'm working through my challenges, that me working through my challenges is just something very, very small to help, so that I can learn these lessons and things, so that I can help other people who are also going through these things, who may not realize that they're not alone in this. So,
well, you come to the right place, because that's what this podcast is.
Yes, girl, I'm happy to be at this table because,
shake this motherfucker up. All right, anyway. Yeah, so I feel like we kind of touched on like the things that retrograde has taught us with like the purging, like realizing you can't control everything, except that release that junk. And then, like, for me, double checking the work. I told you, like, I make typos even still, and it was the acrylics, because I took the acrylics off, and we've been good on the typos. We ain't make no I ain't send out no push alerts with typos yet, knock on wood. Yes. So we doing well. And then the inner child needing to be healed. Like, I I've had an interesting experience with like therapists, and I did have a traumatic experience with a therapist, so I'm kind of like closed off to it. But maybe in 2020, therapy will see me again. We'll discuss. We'll
That's
discuss.
good to stay open to that. That's awesome.
We'll kind of touch it. No, because this year everybody was like, "Oh, like you need to be open to love again." I was like, "We'll see." Yeah. But then again, we'll offline that as well.
Yes.
And then like, oh my God, boundaries. My boundaries were weak coming into 2019. Like, girl, it was rough. And I don't mean boundaries in a sense of like relationships and friendships, because like I've worked on that, perfected that, we Gucci. Like now I'm just flat out the gate. I'm letting people know what I will handle and what I can't handle, what I will deal with, what I won't deal with, what I will accept, what I won't accept. That has come easy. But the family boundaries, we gonna have to do another episode for that, because with some folk need to get dragged without me dragging them. So, but we're gonna have those conversations first, and then I'm gonna come and give y'all the tea of how I handle it.
Yeah.
Because even playing off of that, like a lot, I realize there's a lot of my interactions with people like showed that I don't value myself. And I say that in a sense of like, I had an unhealthy relationship with my own boundaries and with my own self. And every relationship I had with everyone else was a mirror of that.
Yeah.
Like
it's so hard to see.
Yes, girl, so I can see clearly now the rain is gone, because before, like,
no smoke and mirrors.
Whatever you are, a lot of times you attract, like, and I'm talking about specifically characteristics sometimes. Like, I'm not saying that if a guy ugly and he pull up to you with his ugly friends and he try to talk to you, that means that you ugly. No, because you could be beautiful. Let's not say it in that sense. I mean in a sense of like, if you are a manipulator, you are going to meet your match and find somebody that's manipulative and is going to break your ass down. If you are insecure, you're going to find yourself in a position around people who are very insecure. And it's going to be nothing you can do about it. If you are a person that so many things that I didn't like about myself, I'm like, yo, why do I not like this person that much? Oh, because they do this, this, and that. And I have done that. Or I used to do that. And now I've elevated. And now I think I'm better than them. And I'm not, because I was them.
I may still be them.
Period. So, girl, so it's just literally like this year, not only have I learned patience and boundaries and all that, like what I like, what I don't like, it's just been holding up to a mirror. Like all these ugly things that you thought could never be you, guess what? You were doing them. And you need to stop before I beat your ass. And then Mercury retrograde beat my ass. And then I was like, I'm sorry. You're right. So now we have like a fire in our belly, and now we're going into 2020, new decade, new opportunity for growth, new opportunity to learn and be better and be the boss at the end of the video game.
Yes, level up with all the coins.
Would you look at that? Pentacles. I need to get a pentacle tattoo because I need to ink it on my body. Tat on my ribs like I do not know what permanent it is. You heard me. Anyway, your turn.
All right. Some of the lessons that I learned this retrograde, I have to say, was bittersweet. I know we talked about some things coming around that were kind of negative, but it was some things that came around positively. Like a lot of old business partnerships came around that I thought was kind of silent for a few months. I was like, where y'all at? They actually came like all within the same week and stuff. So I was like, yes, okay, come through. So, it ain't all bad. But for me personally, one of the things that I learned was to release my false truths, release myself from false truths so that everything doesn't appear as what it seems. Again, there may be different sides. So just being patient with myself and taking a step back or putting it down or being objective, zooming the lens out. Choosing not to put my emotions in while viewing, or maybe it is required to tap in a little bit more, and then using my logical brain to make a decision. And then also with that is that I enhance my power to reframe my thoughts and words in every present moment. So, with anxiety and things like that, it's real easy to send yourself into a downward spiral, or even depression. It's real easy to send yourself in a downward spiral. But I think it's so important to flex that mental flex of, okay, stop. Let me reframe this thought right now before I continue to go on with the what ifs or jump into conclusions or things like that. So what is something positive that I can reinstate that thought with, or those words? And even with that, we know our thoughts become words, and then our words become actions. So watching my words, and Lauren even called me out on this with my tone. So I had to become more conscious of the tone in which I express myself in, whether I'm speaking about something positive or even something negative, whether it's to someone just in regular casual conversation or even in those intimate conversations. I really want to learn how to have more intimate emotional conversations and not feel like I'm talking over somebody or interjecting myself on them or even projecting myself on them. Like I really want to like be more sound with being social. Something else that I learned was moving deep through my emotions, even though they can hurt, because I went through like emotional shock trauma, like I said earlier in the episode. Like that stuff hurts when you feel those emotions go throughout your body. I had to learn that I just can't acknowledge my emotions. Like I actually have to like allow them to do what they need to do to feel and sit with them, and that it's okay that if I have mood swings, it doesn't make me crazy. And so, yeah, just again, learning how to move through outdated mentalities and emotional reactions, because having a temper tantrum at 28 years old ain't cute. Okay. So, and through that, I got exposed to, that my inner child, even still like holds on to jealousy and insecurity within myself. And I didn't know that. And I had to like really, really face that truth. And I was like, wow, like why is this coming up? Why am I feeling this going away? So, just going deeper into that, which allowed me to see that, wow, I lack security within myself. And so I need to really do some personal work within myself to build that security up, make sure that my chakras are all aligned, make sure my root chakra is solid, make sure that my solar plexus is still burning nice and bright and warm, so that my purpose and my confidence is not inflicted by anyone or anything, because I am in my bag. I'm the shit. I'm that bitch, and ain't nobody gonna take me off of my bossness.
Period.
Okay. And because of that, like, I don't want to sabotage myself or my relationships. Like, again, like, I don't want to ever get into that moment of projecting myself onto someone because of a lack of insecurity or jealousy or lack of confidence. And then I'm out here friendless because I haven't dealt with my own shit. So it's time for me to walk my talk and being confident and living my truth and all the things that I know that I'm here to do. Those are some of my lessons. And I express gratitude for all of these lessons, because even though they hurt, they might knock your teeth out or pull out a braid or two. Look, they always go back. You can get a veneer, you can get an implant. Like, it's okay. It's okay. You come back shining brighter than ever.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. Like, I just feel like I broke down, and then now, like, I'm like a phoenix. Ashes,
Yes.
like, oh, girl, who that is? Who that is right now? Who that is?
Yes, I
That
feel
is
so
me.
empowered. I feel so empowered, especially now that the year is coming to a close. Slowly but surely, it's coming to a close, and it's like, how you really finna act, because you ain't make it through this 10-year run, and you're not about to come through this next one shining. Like,
right? I'm just thinking, like, yo, 2009, I was going into 9th grade, ugly as hell, still getting perms. Like, that's how you know I've elevated. Like, nobody can tell me nothing because I used to get perms. Okay, that's it. That's it. A bang rat with a perm. Like, from there, I knew that wasn't going to be my destiny. Okay?
Oh my God, that was just a stepping stone.
Period. So I'm excited to look at this in 2029 and be like, from my yacht with my man, and be like, hello,
Yes.
what you bro bitch talking about? Oh,
yes.
nothing.
Yes,
But
I'm
you know
here
what?
for it.
bottom line is like, because we just started talking about all kind of stuff, but y'all, bottom line is that's what a retrograde is. It's just a disruptive period, and you're going to get past it. And you think about it before. For those of you that didn't even know what it is, you got through so many, and you didn't even peep.
Mm-hmm.
Like you made it through 100% of your bad days.
Like, oh, dang, that's what that was. I hope you go back and reflect on those moments and be like, how did this maybe erupt me or disrupt me, and how can I now move forward and not be the same which I was before?
You gotta look back and be like, I'm a bad bitch, you can't kill me. And then every time retrograde comes up after, I don't even know the 2020 retrograde dates. I need to look them up. But in 2020, like when this happened to y'all, get in your bag, zipping up that Ziploc, do some reflections, write stuff down, have your little dreams, write down your little dreams, slow down, double check your work, and you'll be good.
And be open to the change.
Period. Don't be trying to hold on to nothing that don't want to be held on.
Yes,
you can't
child. Do it. You can't. Child, attachment.
Life is a ponytail. Don't force it. All right, but anyway, y'all, I'm so excited to be back into this podcast grind. So expect some good content because I told y'all, like a phoenix, I'm out them ashes and I'm ready to go, ready to smoke them ashes. Period. So if y'all have any questions, DM me. We will continue this conversation online. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next episode.